Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Stoppage Time. This is the finals preview show where we're going to cover the Europa League final on Friday, the Champions League final on Sunday. Two big finals, four very good squads. And with me to discuss this, Nick Borrman of WagerTalk, Kevin Dolan, also of WagerTalk, and Pavlos, good old Pavlos. Love the guy from Sports Memo. All right, guys, let's throw it to Nick first on the top there. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Don't pay attention to my hair; it's all over the place. I'm out of sleep right now. The wife's in the hospital. It's weird. I can't be there with her because of COVID rules. Right after the show at 2:00, I can go, so I'm gonna run there as soon as the show's over. So I'm here. I'm doing okay. She's okay. She's gonna have to have a little surgery today, but we'll be all right. We'll get through it. So been better, but
okay.
Take it day by day. I guess.
Give her our best. Hopefully all goes well. You are on a pretty good heater, 23-7 all sports last 9 days, 20-5 Champions League, Europa League since the restart. You're on fire, man.
Yeah, it's been great over the last week and a half. The Champions League Europa, I couldn't ask for anything better than since the restart on that. And honestly, I wasn't expecting. You're never expecting to be that good, but some of the games were, the one-off games and the neutral sites. It was I wasn't sure what to expect. We had the same setup in the MLS, right? Neutral sites, one-off games, and that didn't go nearly as well. Yeah. So just a much better read right now in Europe than I had in Major League Soccer. So yeah, very, very happy. Hope it continues with two more games we'll talk about today.
All right, Pavlos, how are you doing, my friend? I know you took an extended vacation, but you are back, and from what you're telling me, you're ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah, that's true. I actually, it wasn't supposed to be just a vacation. I took, my smartphone with me. I had data loaded, so I can watch those semifinals. But my phone died, so I had no access to civilization whatsoever. I didn't know what was happening, outside of that camping site. So now I'm back. The technology is on my side, so let's get this running.
Yeah, listen. They invented this fabulous thing called phone chargers. So I'm gonna send you one from here from Canada. You just got to tell me what kind of a plug you guys use over there or whatever. But no, listen. I understand the despair that comes with your phone dying. A good friend of mine, they do this canoe trip to the even farther north than Canada or where I am. And for 7 days, they canoe and portage and then canoe and portage until they get to a site where there's absolutely no signal on your phone. And for me to be away from sports for 7 days and civilization, that was the last time I did this trip. They do it every year. I've only gone once. It was enough for me because the minute the trip was over and we drove to a place where you could actually get a signal, my phone completely blew up with the messages. I'm surprised they didn't put like an Amber Alert out for me and stuff for the people who know me. Kev, another guy who is on a tremendous run, 10-1 overall with 4% and 5% plays, 5-1 Champions League. You're on fire as well. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, it's funny. We were talking about in the group chat, for all that me and Nick come on here and might slightly disagree about games, anytime we actually check the plays, we're generally on the same side of games. So, running right hot right now, like 10-1, as you said. So, the only negative is, it's nearly pitch black here in Ireland. We're going through a storm Ellen. So it's all like thunder and rain, and I got all the lights on right here just so you can see me, So, yeah, apart from that, it's all good.
For you guys that don't know, Kev had me on a show that they do, a footballing show. I was on this morning. It was fun to do. The only drawback, Nick, that I can take from it is they tried to honor me by having my flag up. You know, I saw the red, the white, or sorry, the green, the white, but the red had faded to like an orange color, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, you know, the Italian flag is a vibrant green, white, and red. What is this orange? So, Kev, if you can fix that for the next time I'm on the show.
Yeah, sorry, we left it out in the sun. Not that there's much sun outside at the minute, but yeah, faded for you. Sorry about that.
God. All right, guys, let's jump right into this. Two very big games coming up. Obviously, the first one is on Friday. Sevilla, Inter Milan. This game is being played in Germany. Sevilla is this is the most updated odds. So there's been a slight change since this morning. Sevilla is plus 250. The draw is plus 240. And Inter Milan are the favorites at plus 110. And just checking on the total to see if the total still stands at 2.5 minus 125 on the under. I'm going to throw this one to Kevin first on this game here, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts as we go along.
I mean, I can't help but feel that I've got a bit of egg on my face with Inter. For as hot as we've been, I've got this team completely wrong because look, you know, over the last week we've seen a Messi-led Barcelona team get absolutely demolished by Bayern Munich. And in my opinion, that still wasn't the best performance I've seen all week. Inter were absolutely sensational. The way Conte set up this team. I mean, they were playing a Shakhtar team who, if you were back at over 2.5 in their games, they were cashing multiple tickets. Like, this is one of the best attacking teams, Taizon, so on, the way they poured forward Maresh. They had one half chance the entire game from a header. Like, one half chance. They were going nowhere. It was back, side to side, back to front, side to side. Inter completely shut them out. I thought Martinez was sensational. I'll be surprised. I mean, I know Inter are a big club, but I'd be very surprised if he's not moving somewhere soon, like even bigger, because he put in one of the best performances I've seen in the Europa League. And we talked about the Getafe game last week. I was like, oh, maybe this team's a little bit tired. So I put a 2% play on Leverkusen plus the half a goal. But they just keep proving me wrong, and I'm like, there's no way I'm against Inter coming into the final because they looked absolutely brilliant. And again, they've seemed to have improved from the Getafe game, looked better in the Leverkusen game, looked absolutely sensational this time. So they keep getting better with every game. It's hard to look past, in terms of this game, the goals stands out. Sevilla have had 9 clean sheets in 13 competitive matches since the restart. That's the best in Europe. They're a very, very solid team in the back. And as we just said, Inter looked extremely solid at the back last time out as well. However, in those 4 games where Sevilla did concede, they gave up the opening goal before the 30th minute. Inter, meanwhile, have scored a first half goal in 6 straight matches. So again, that's something to consider here. Inter in first half looks like a likely play here. Early goal. Inter have also led at halftime in 8 of the last 9 wins. When they score early. So I think that's a likely play here. Inter, in the first half line. Inter, like Sevilla, have done really well defensively, as we said, gave up just 1 goal across their last 7 matches. They've been so tight at the back. I know the under's looking like a little bit low here, and people might look at the 5-0, the absolute blowout that happened, the 5-0, but I would definitely lean under here, but I quite like that Inter on the first half line. I don't have it up, Carmine. Do you have the first half line?
Yeah, Inter in the first half line are plus 175. The draw's plus 110, and Sevilla is plus 300. So that's not too bad.
Yeah, I would lean under. And I would lean Inter. I think they win this 1, perhaps 2-0.
All right. We lost Pavlos there somehow. Hopefully he's back. His pitcher might not be back.
I think I'm back.
He's back. It's just his pitcher isn't. But you may have to turn on your video, but we'll continue on. I'll try and fix that, and I'll go to Nick on this one next.
Would it be odd if I said I was thinking the opposite way of Kevin on both the side and total? Would that be weird?
It wouldn't. You guys have been known to sometimes disagree on stuff, so it's possible.
Well, listen. At the end of the day, both of these teams deserve to be here. I mean, Inter, Kevin said, has played very, very well. Honestly, the only game they didn't really play that well, especially defensively, was the Getafe game. They could have lost that game. They did give up several chances in that game. But since they turned it around, they held Leverkusen to 1 goal on 0.72 expected goals, and they held Shakhtar to 0.6 expected goals. As Kevin said, a half a chance is really all they had that whole game. Sevilla, they did very well. They honestly they're lucky to be here against Man United. United were definitely the better team in the game. They doubled up as far as expected goals go over Sevilla. So they're lucky to have gotten past that. But they really did a very good job against the Wolves, other than giving up the penalty, which added a big number to Wolves' expected goals, which they missed. They really have played well. They did a number on Roma, held them to 0.45, and Roma was very hot coming into that thing. So Sevilla, we've talked about it before. They are a Europa aficionado, maybe is the right word. I mean, they've won this thing 5 times, 3 of the last 6 years. They know how to play this tournament. They're just good in this style of competition. And this is how they like to play. I mean, the under makes a lot of sense based on these two teams being very good defensively. One thing I thought was interesting is all 8 quarterfinal games in both the Champions and Europa League games finished over this total. All 8 of them scored at least 3 goals. Now, what does that play into this game? I guess it really doesn't, but it was worth noting that was happening. And what's different this year is we have, one-off games, which this final would have been one-off, and Sunday's final would have been one-off anyway. But all these one-off games have produced, slightly different games, definitely different tactics as far as how these teams have to approach the games, especially once those first goals come in. So does that stand any reason to maybe go into what we're seeing here? All the expected goals, none of those games were flukes. It wasn't like those goals shouldn't have happened. Maybe the Leipzig-Madrid game was the only game that might not have reached over. There was one deflection that went in. Other than that, all of them had chances. So, I mean, it's hard for me. I want to look at the under here, but it's hard for me to get on just because of what I've seen so far in the last 2 weeks from all these teams. I mean, they played a lot of matches coming in. Is fatigue an issue with all the teams? Are they just that much sharper in form offensively? I don't know. So the total, I'm really struggling with. I do like the actually over on that, only because you're getting even money, maybe plus 105 on the 2.5 number, which I think is fair value. I could see it a 2-1 final. And on that, who's going to come ahead? Honestly, this is kind of one where I was like, if either team's going to be catching goals, it's hard to look away from that. I like right now you can pay minus 130 to get Sevilla plus 0.5, or it's around even money, or maybe minus 105 for plus 1/4 of a goal. I don't know. Since the restart, they haven't done anything but draw and win, right? So they haven't lost one single game. That means if they're catching goals, you would have hit every single match they've played. Doesn't mean that's going to happen here, but I don't know. It's hard for me not to take the number on Sevilla, as well as they've been playing defensively. And they're good at finding a goal when they need it. I mean, even if it's just a goal and it ends 1-1, which is, again, why I'm more weary on the total. I do like Sevilla. I think they're going to keep it close. I think they know how to play this event. They got a lot of experience in this competition, and they've just been playing well enough and good enough to limit Inter and keep them to maybe just a goal. And if it's just a goal, I think Sevilla's going to get their own, and they cover with a draw.
Yeah.
It could end 1-0 as well. So I don't know. I think it's Sevilla for me on the side, and I lean towards the over on the total.
Yeah, the before I throw it to Pavlos next, the dynamic within this game and why I think the total is where it is. I tend to look at, when I'm looking at totals, I tend to look at the style in which both teams obviously play. These teams do play a similar style where it's not attack-orientated football first. They like to play the ball from the back. They like to play through midfield. And, it's more of get into the final third and set up a play. It's almost like that half-court defense in basketball to to use it as sort of an analogy or what have you, but you're not going to see these teams going up and down the field like a PSG or like a Bayern Munich normally would. There's a lot of possession here. So when you're a little more deliberate, you don't get those goals as quickly unless there's a defensive error. And these are two teams that you don't see a lot of defensive errors from. You look at this Inter team and, in the last 6 games, I believe it is. I think Bayern, that game against Bayern Leverkusen is the only game in which they've allowed a goal. I believe that they have 5 clean sheets. Last 6 games, they've won all 6, and they've only allowed 1 goal. And before that was a 0-0 draw with Fiorentina. So you've got to go as far back as the Roma game back in July 19th in a 2-2 draw to find any goals scored against this team. They really are in form right now. No disrespect to Sevilla, who, as you stated, won this competition in 2016 over Liverpool, 2015 over Dnipro, and 2014 in penalties against Benfica, and then 2006, 2007 were the other years that they've won them. Inter, they haven't won it since it's been called the Europa League. They won it when it was the UEFA Cup, with the last one coming over Lazio in '98. So they've won three or four finals they've been in as well too. So these teams can win trophies. Inter's like on a 9-year trophy drought, so I believe they've got to get one sooner or later. And I think it comes here. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game. And even when you look at, and Nick, I know you're a fan of the correct scores. Every correct score, the low prices obviously are the ones that are favored. 1-1 is plus 550, and then the next lowest is Inter winning 1-0 at plus 650.
Yep.
Then you've got 2-0 and a scoreless draw, both at 850. And then Sevilla at 1-0 at plus 900, because these teams know how to defend the lead when they get the lead. So that's the thing about these. Pavlos, I am going to throw it to you. We've finally got you up on the screen. You're looking good, my friend. What are your thoughts on this game?
Penalty kick. I really believe that we'll see a penalty kick. If you find this prop in your sports book, in my sports book, it's around plus 185 for one penalty kick to be awarded in this match, and that does not include, the penalty kicks after the regular time, only 90 minutes. So I really like the under here. I agree with all the defensive mechanism that Inter have created this season. They have a really strong defense, and so do Sevilla. Sevilla. They are a very cynical team. They know how to get results. They usually score the first goal and then just defend fiercely. So, of course, it could go over the total, which is 2.5 goals. But I like the under and the penalty kick here.
All right. Yeah. I'm usually a fan, as Nick will tell you. We do the live betting shows, and I usually have as a couple of the pregame bets an own goal to be scored. Usually a plus 1,000, which is like 10-1 odds, and I will choose a penalty. But this in a game where I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals scored. I can't take it. And if I do, I need more than like plus 175 or plus 200 for a penalty. But in the age of VAR, everything gets called. So, that's why these penalty propositions and the own goal propositions, where everything is seen on a little screen by another official, offer a little bit more value, as they did last year. And because we're going to segue into Champions League. I'm going to have my Champions League selection up shortly, so probably at the end of the show. And much like Nick has his up now, every year, so you guys know, every year I put my Champions League play up along with 4 or 5 prop bets for $1. So not the regular $25 or $40, but for $1. And it's sort of my thank you to everyone for following along during the soccer season. And I know Nick has taken the bull by the horns and done the same thing this year. Last year in the Champions League final, it worked out pretty good for us. We took Liverpool to have the lead at halftime. These were the prop bets. Liverpool to have the lead at halftime. A penalty to be awarded, which Liverpool was awarded. That was plus 600. And the exact score, Liverpool to win 2-0 at plus 800. And that hit as well, too. So it was a stellar day at the pub for my friends and I, who they were all betting. And when Liverpool, well, first, when that penalty was awarded 3 minutes into the game or 2 minutes into the game, we were ecstatic. And then when they got that goal in the 87th or 88th minute to make it 2-0, we just continued to drink. That's when the shots came out. But okay, let's head over to this Champions League game. This is going to be a good one. Definitely Sunday, 3:00 Eastern time, or whatever time it is, wherever you guys are. PSG, Bayern Munich. Here are the odds. PSG plus 225. The draw is plus 300. Bayern Munich is plus 100, so even money. To lift the trophy, PSG is plus 137. Bayern Munich is minus 175. If you ask what lifting the trophy means, that essentially takes everything into consideration. If it goes into extra time and if it goes into penalty kicks, if you bet to lift the trophy, all you need is the winner. With the lines I mentioned earlier, it's graded on 90 minutes plus any injury time. The total in this game currently sits at 3.5, with the juice on the under at about minus 115. I'm going to throw this to Kev, to you first.
How come you always give Nick the rebuttal?
All right, I'm going to throw this one to Nick first. Yeah, you know what? I want to change it up because in all fairness, that's the way it should be. So, Nick, we're going to go to you first on this one. Give me your thoughts.
All right. Bayern, I took, everybody knows from the beginning, to win the Champions League. And yesterday we talked, and I believe the term that was coined for me is Martha Stewart, or maybe I coined that myself. Yes. So Kevin called me, a gardener, because gardener, what did you say? Hedging is for gardeners, I believe was the term you used. And then I guess the only person I could think of that was like a gardener is, because it's Martha Stewart, she has those shows where she's always like trimming her flowers and hedges and whatever. So I basically called myself Martha Stewart and said, you know what? PSG to lift the trophy, plus 150, was plus 160 yesterday, is how I'm going to play this game. And it's not because I truly feel that way. It's because I am not a gambler. I am here to make profit and win money, and that will guarantee me good money. I'll basically get paid to watch the game, so why wouldn't I do it? Now, could I let the Bayern ride? Of course. And I'll probably hedge it where a little bit more. I'll win a little bit more if Bayern does win versus if PSG does, but either way, I'll get paid. Ultimately, though, throw that aside. Let's just handicap this particular game because, that's my situation. Goals? The side, I want to say Bayern. I've loved him the whole way. PSG has looked good. There's no denying it. Bayern has looked good for a long time. I mean, they played the second half of their Bundesliga or whatever you want to call it, the restart, and they looked very, very good. They lost 2 games under Flick since he came on board. He has this team just gelling and rolling. And PSG, though, has looked the best that they've looked all year, too. So it's hard to really make an argument against them just out of form's sake. But I do like the goals. I mean, both teams, Bayern had over 3. Both teams had over 3 goals, expected goals, in their semifinal matches. Yet, both teams gave up chances. We talked about Lyon. Lyon had a couple early ones that they could have got on Bayern, and ended up getting 1.62 expected goals. And Leipzig got 1.42 expected goals against PSG. And if you go back through even the quarterfinals, they were giving up chances. I mean, Barcelona had 1.2 and obviously scored 2 goals. Atalanta got an early goal. So I think, even against lesser teams, they were giving up chances. These are 2 of the best offensive teams we've seen all year. I know it's, a lot of times when you get two offensive teams together like this and you expect a lot of goals, it doesn't happen. But I think this is just one that we'll see it. You could take it, I think, 1.25, Kevin. I think you were looking at that on the first half. I like the over 3.5 for the game. Again, the side, I could listen to arguments either way. I lean towards Bayern just because of how good they've looked for a longer period of time. But that's kind of where I'm thinking on this one. Do you guys agree? Disagree? Let me know.
You'll find out shortly. But yeah, it's tough. Anytime you want to look at, and I'm going to throw it to Kevin next so he can rebuttal that. But it's tough to go against a team like Bayern Munich, especially if you look at their record, and it's absolutely insane over the last while. They've gone 26 games without losing, 25 wins, 1 draw. That loss was a club friendly, so they had a few wins even before that. So they're just on an insane run. It's a step up in class, and they're a very good team, but they're not playing the bottom half of the Bundesliga now. They're playing some pretty good teams, and I understand that they smashed Barcelona 8-2. And as good as they were, that was more about Barcelona just not having a very good team that could compete with a team like Bayern Munich. They did what they had to do against Chelsea. I think the game against Lyon was more indicative of what we're going to see on Sunday. And I said it on the show earlier, and I'll say it again. I think if you give PSG the chances that Lyon had in the first 15 minutes of that game, PSG would probably have been up 2-0. Lyon sort of, they bottled it, for lack of a better word. These are two very good defensive teams. PSG, lowest goals allowed in League One, 24 through 27 games before they canceled their season. And Bayern Munich, 32 goals allowed, the lowest in the 34 games in Bundesliga. Reason being, as I mentioned before, these are two possession type teams. They play very well with the ball, and as Pep Guardiola would say, is the best defense is a good offense. So if you're scoring goals or you have the ball, the other team can't score. So with that in mind, I'm going to throw it to Kevin on your rebuttal of your Martha Stewart, the gardener, Borrman.
I thought his match breakdown was perfect, so I'm not going to rebuttal him on that. Just in terms of the futures market, though, I will give a little bit of a rebuttal. I would say we're speculators, so unless it's life-changing money, I generally don't tend to hedge. Now, we did that video with Kelly on the Champions League futures market back in February. My main pick was PSG, because I liked them to win it. I liked them to win it back then. I thought, I mentioned in my breakdown of that, I thought Tuchel's a good manager. They needed that German efficiency. And also my main player, and this is what's giving me a bit of pain for this game, is the fact that Idrissa Gueye is out. I really like Idrissa Gueye. I think he brings such a central role to that team. And his absence, I know everyone's like, oh, Di Maria's back and Mbappe's back, but he brings such a solidity to the middle of the field that I think he's going to be a huge absence in this game. But so that was the main bet. And then obviously, so I don't know how other sports bettors do it, but that's how I do it in respect. Like, I'll pick a team to win. I'll stick with it all the way. I thought PSG were going to win. I'll ride that. So I've got my 8-1 ticket. I'll be sitting down as a fan. I will have a play on the goals, as Nick said. And then I put out a play on my side. Play was on Leipzig, 20-1. Guess what I did last week? I hedged out because I didn't think Leipzig were going to win the tournament. But I thought, again, they're a good enough team that they could upset the apple cart a wee bit, get through to a quarterfinal, semi-final, as we said in the video. Perfect hedging opportunity. So that's tend to how I do it. Like, if I like a team, I'll just ride it all the way. If it loses, whatever. I mean, it's not like the guy who bet on LSU last year, $50,000. It's I don't have $50,000 riding on this game. It's just a nice bit of money, but it's not that much. So I'll ride it. But yeah, I mean, I know the points about the under, but these two teams, man, They're absolute fates. And then we got Sergio Rico in goal, of course, for Paris Saint-Germain. I'm not sure if Navas is going to be back in time. I mean, Fulham, he couldn't start for Fulham. I mean, like, what? You can't have this guy in chat. You know, this guy's supposed to be going up against Lewandowski. So, you know, Bayern Munich, absolute machine, 29-game unbeaten run, longest in Europe, averaging 3.34 goals. You know, and they're averaging 4.2 goals per match in this competition. So Bayern are going to be very hard to beat. I think it's going to be 3-2, something along those lines. 3-3, maybe goes into extra time. I see a ton of goals. I really do. But I can't pick it. I'll be on PSG. We all know that, and I think PSG can pull it off.
So what you're telling me is you're not going to take a correct score 0-0 at plus 2,200. No. I believe this is what you're telling me. Listen, I'm all for hedging. When I've got clients on a play. We did it with in the World Cup a couple years ago with Croatia at 40-1, and I figured out the perfect hedge because we had France at 7-1, and we had Croatia at 40-1 competing in the final. So I gave them a perfect hedge in order to sort of balance that out and make a ton of money regardless of who won that World Cup final, even though I knew it was going to be France. But, Kev, we talked about every year. You guys know I'm a Juve fan. I literally light $1,000 on fire every year and put $1,000 in Vegas on Juventus to win the Champions League. And they disappoint me each and every year. But it's something I do. But 3-4 years ago when they were in the final against Real Madrid to lift the trophy were minus 106, and the smart thing to do as a bettor, as Nick says, is to protect your bankroll. And so, instead of riding it out and trying to win 15K on Juve, I hedged out half that amount on Real Madrid to lift the trophy, and it didn't matter what happened. I was going to be a winner on my ticket. So at the end of the day, they lost 4-1, but I had a few beers and I cashed $7,500. I think that's all that really matters. And to the hedging point, before I throw the Pavlos, sorry, I had a customer contact me and ask me, we have Manchester United to win the Europa. Why are you taking Sevilla to beat Manchester United? Because the two bets are independent of each other. So you put in futures thinking which team has the best chance to win. But then each and every game, each and every week that we see these teams play, we reevaluate our position. And Sevilla was the play against Manchester United. You can have me bet that game 10 times. I'm going to bet Sevilla 10 times out of 10 times. It's just it was the right play to make. So this is where the sort of the hedging part comes into it. Pavlos, PSG, Bayern Munich.
I just want to say a couple of things about the players or the matchups, to be more precise. Bayern Munich, we all know her. We know them. They're a very strong team. They can destroy anyone offensively. They showed that by scoring 8 goals to Barcelona. But they do have, and in my opinion, it's a hole in their starting lineup, and that is the center back. I mean, Alaba is very nice, very good, a very good player, a very good complete, and he's not actually a center back. But anyway, the other center back is Boateng. This guy was ridiculed by Messi, I think, a couple of years ago. If you want, you can check on YouTube.
Yeah, he was corkscrewed into the ground, I think.
yeah, he really did a thing on him. So, that PSG, they have Mbappe and Neymar and Di Maria up front. So I'm pretty sure that it's any one of those three guys can expose Boateng or Zule, because maybe Zule, the other guy who's like a giant, I don't know, he's like 2 meters and like this. Maybe he'll start, I don't know. But those two guys are a liability on Bayern Munich's defense, and I think that's exactly where PSG will try to hit them. But there's also a flaw on PSG's defense because, as Kevin said, I think Rico is most likely going to be under the posts. Rico is the backup goalkeeper. which is who is not very good, not as good as Jesus Navas. And also Thiago Silva, the center back of PSG, is a very dirty player. He always, he's like a mini Luis Suarez. He tries to upset people. He plays, he does dirty tackles. So I wouldn't be surprised if we also saw a penalty kick here. But I think we're going to see a lot of cards, a lot of, a lot of fouls, because there are a lot of players that need to be contained, a lot of dangerous players in this match. So also one last thing, that PSG, the team built exactly to win the Champions League. So I'd like to see them win it. I also like Bayern Munich, but plus half a goal on PSG is at plus 106 right now. Or no, I'm sorry, it's a bit lower than that. But I like that. I mean, of course, Bayern Munich can beat them by 5-0. But PSG with plus half a goal is at minus 120, and I think I like it. And also goals, and that's all.
Goals.
Goals. The cards that you mentioned are 5.5 is with the 5. Yeah, it's 5.5 with juice on the under. So if you're looking for that proposition bet, just to let you know, the official for this game, because none of the Italian teams could make it into the Champions League final, it'll be officiated by an Italian referee. It'll be Daniel Orsato who's officiating this. So he likes his yellow cards. You can look him up. He does like his yellow cards, but 5.5 under 5, over 5.5 is plus 110. So if you like that, that's one way of going. I mentioned earlier, Nick is on a very good run, 23-7 all sports last 9 days. Kevin, 10-1 run overall, all sports, including 5-1 Champions League. I'm on a 9-1 run as well too. I think it might be 9-2 because I had a hockey game that go the wrong way last night, but a good run. So I put together a show special. This is only going to run until tomorrow. So that coupon expires in 24 hours. The coupon is finals 50. So finals 50. That'll get you $50 off a 7-day all access package. So for Nick, it'll be all of his soccer plays, and MLS is back in action. Nick's golf plays. For Kevin, it'll be his soccer plays, as well as any baseball and basketball that he has, and mine will include hockey as well too. Pavlos is back up and running after his phone issue, but he's going to have some soccer up. I know the man likes his MLS as a Seattle Sounders fan. And then is there basketball going on right now in Europe, Pavlos?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It's going to take a while.
All right, so just
but
NBA.
we're expecting it. Yeah.
Awesome. Any questions in the chat there from the guys? I'm just kind of sort of moving it through just to see what we have here. What we're also going to do is, just to let you guys know, is check each capper's page in the next day or so. I'm going to have a season starting special, because as much as usually Champions League signals the end of a soccer season, the way things have gone, and having this final on the 23rd, we're literally at the cusp of all the new seasons starting. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but France will start this weekend. EPL, their schedule is out. They start on September the 12th. And then La Liga also starts on September 12th. And then the Bundesliga and Serie A will start on the 18th and 19th of September. So we're right back at it. We're going to be going twice a week, stoppage time shows, because these games, a lot of these teams are going to be playing, or a lot of these these leagues are going to be playing midweek weekend. So there's just a ton of games. So I'm going to put something together for a 30-day, 90-day, and a 1-year package for each one of these guys because they're doing fantastic in what they do. They put all the homework in. So you guys go over there and show them your thanks by supporting them and picking up some of their whether it's daily or long-term packages and make some money. Anthony asks, French teams always losing to German teams. With these two teams here, and I'll throw it to Nick next, I don't think there's any mental blocks here. PSG are the type of team, again, it's tough to go against a team like Bayern, who have won 25 of the last 26 games with a draw. But PSG possess one of the things that the other teams that faced Bayern didn't have. And these guys are fearless. They're not afraid of who they're playing. PSG is a team of stars as well. Mbappe, who is one of the best in the world. Neymar, one of the best in the world. Di Maria, playing fantastic. He's a revival of sorts. They're coming into the game. They're not afraid. They're coming to win a trophy. Whether it works out or not, well, we're going to see. But Nick, do you think there's any mental block?
The mental block, I think, for PSG is just that they finally cleared the hurdle of getting it this far, right? I mean, they were built 10 years ago for this purpose, to win the Champions League. And every year, just like Man City, they crap out and lose when they probably shouldn't have, or when nobody thought they were going to. They finally got to the final. What will they do with that? That's what's up. I don't think it has anything to do with being, Bayern or a German team. It's just they finally made it this far. Is it going to be like a letdown in a way? Like, oh, finally, the monkey's off our back. We're here. And then they're like, oh, shit. And it takes them 20 minutes to get going, and they're already down 2-0, and it's too late. I don't know. I honestly don't know in that mindset. But that's kind of where I'm like, what's going to happen with their temperament and their minds coming into this game. Are they going to be a little complacent at first, possibly just because they feel like that monkey's off their back, even though they haven't won yet and they still got another 90 minutes to play?
Yeah. So, and with that in mind, I understand it. It's easy to look at it and think, let's say that there's a mental block or what have you with them. I never see it that way. I just look at the teams, I look at the players, and yeah, they finally got over that hurdle. I can't help, and Kev, I'm going to throw it to you next before I go to Pavlos. I can't help looking at these odds and just saying to myself, if the world is ready to give Bayern Munich this title, which they rightfully probably deserve for how this team has performed this year and even last year and what have you, is they're still only even money to win this tournament. They're still only minus 175 to lift it. You would think the separation in odds would be a lot bigger than what they are, and they just aren't. Kev?
Yeah, but I mean, we've already just said, Mbappe, Di Maria. So it's like, how much separation could, as good as Bayern are, there's only so much separation you could do with a team as good as PSG. I think there's some, good signs pointing to PSG in this matchup as well. Obviously, I think they've had the tougher side of the draw. I'd far rather play Chelsea than Dortmund, you know what I mean? So I think in that regards, Barcelona are the name team, but they're faded at this point. So I think Bayern Munich have had a relatively easy, you can't say easy, but you know what I mean, the easier side of the draw, let's say. They avoided Manchester City, even though I potentially, said I thought City were overrated as it was, but that would have been a great game. And, you hit it on as well, where Lyon should have been, at least, they should have had 2 goals. They missed some real sitters. Would Kevin De Bruyne, who I said before in last week's show, I think he's the best player in the world, were those types? Raheem Sterling probably would have missed him. But, not some of the better players on City. So, yeah, and I think the Atalanta, a lot of people looked at the Atalanta result for PSG. Oh, they got lucky. I think that really woke this team up to a degree. At least that's what I'm hoping as well for the finalists. Like, wait, like when the PSG players, they weren't celebrating. They weren't like, no. They were like, we know we got out of jail there. and we need, Nick's already said shit, so I'll say it too. Like, we need to get our shit together, because this is, we're in the big leagues now, and I think that showed the Leipzig game.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I'm going to throw it to Pavlos here before we go to the our always favorite segment, the Luis Suarez Award, and I know we all have different ones for this one, but yeah, Pavlos, same thing as far as like mental space with this game. It's one of those things where, as I formulate my thoughts, which I always say is, in any final, sometimes, again, I'm trying to make a case for saying that Bayern can be beaten, and this is how tough it is because they're such a good team, is sometimes two very good teams meet on a field and one, it's just their day, and they just, they just get there. They just find a way of winning, and it's no slight on the other team, but this is why we play the game. We've done this for so long that we know on any given day a team can win or lose. I never thought there was a chance that Lyon would actually beat Man City. I absolutely hate Man City right now, but they did it. You know what I mean? Sometimes a good team can make another team look flat or look bad. Maybe they weren't. It's just one team was marginally better on that day. So with that in mind, Pavlos.
Well, if that were to happen in this match, in this final, I think it would be Bayern Munich making, PSG look like, kids playing with men. I simply cannot see, Neymar or Di Maria. They are very good players, but they are like what we call them in Greece, like prima donnas.
Yeah.
They're very talented guys, like kittens. I called them kittens the other day. Because they have a lot of talent, but they're easily frustrated. They don't like it when things or whistles don't go their way. I don't see the Germans losing their composure. If anyone's gonna lose their composure, it's probably gonna be PSG. Bayern Munich are a very probably the best oiled machine in world soccer. I don't know, in quite a few years. They're always very, very, very strong. They don't spend a lot of money. I mean, they have a lot of talent coming from the academies, the youth academies. So they're always ready for the task at hand. Not just Bayern Munich, the Germans. I remember what they did to the World Cup with to Brazil. I mean, they just, if they click into gear, they won't stop. They'll just destroy anyone, which is not the case with this season's PSG because, as I said, they have a lot of talent, but it's not always about talent. I mean, for example, Greece won the 2004 Euro Cup, Greece, with no talent at all. I mean, I'm Greek. I enjoyed that very much, but we didn't have a lot of talent. We had very, very few talented guys in our lineup. It was just about grit and being ready for the task at hand. And I think that Bayern Munich are better prepared and they have the better mental state to just win this final. And as I'm gonna leave you with a quote, as Gary Lineker, a legendary English striker, once said, "Football is a simple game. 22 men chase a ball for 90 minutes, and at the end, the Germans always win." So yeah, that's all. Me.
There's a joke in there somewhere. You know what I mean? I used to laugh at because I know that German Soccer Federation, or who was it, had lent a lot of money to the Greece's Soccer Federation. So under your emblem for the Greece team, it said owned and operated by the Germans. So I'm not sure if that has changed right now or whatever, but kudos to I love watching some of the Super League games from Greece. Usually I like to watch the end of it to see if like any of your team owners are coming onto the field with a Glock tucked into the front or back of their pants, which we've seen from the owner of is it PAOK?
PAOK, yes.
So the one thing I will say before we get to the Suarez Award that makes this PSG team a little different than the last few years is, at least as far as Neymar goes, is the focus for Neymar hasn't been goals. He has been an assist machine. He's feeding the guys. It's no longer the focus on him. I wish he wouldn't fall to the ground, 13 times a game trying to get a call. But this is what football is, unfortunately. But the man has the most assists in Champions League appearances right now. I believe when I saw the stat up on Twitter. With that said, we'll go to our feature of the show, the Suarez Award. So I'm gonna throw this one to Kev because we haven't heard from you for a while. The Suarez Award winner.
I got Arsenal. Team who said Serge Gnabry was surplus to requirements. That's basically it. It's like, okay, all right, Arsenal. So they get my Suarez Award.
Nick, Suarez Award winner.
Sterling.
He stole mine. Okay.
Of course, I stole it. I don't know how we all didn't take Sterling. I mean, the game was going to be 2-2 against Lyon, and you could have made that, Carm.
Yeah.
You should have. I mean, that was how easy that goal was, and he put it over the net. I'm not even sure how that happened, but Sterling. It's got to be Sterling.
All right. So, Pavlos.
Well, I'll give the Suarez Award to me this week because it wasn't actually a battery issue that killed my phone. It was the high humidity up there. So I didn't watch any soccer for 5 days. My mind was, I was going out of my mind. I didn't know what was happening in the outside world. So next time, guys, bring a power bank, bring a laptop, and also your phone. So, yeah.
Maybe on the next show we can find out where he went because he's like the humidity up there. Like, were you traveling with like Sherpas to the top of some mountain? Like,
it was a lake on the top of a mountain, and it was amazing.
Awesome.
If only my phone hadn't died.
Well, it's all good.
No.
It's all good. So, with that said, mine is also Raheem Sterling. An absolute sitter in front of the net. The look on his face, you know what I mean? I just wish, these players wore their emotions on their sleeves sometimes where someone goes up to them and just mouths the words like, what the F were you thinking? You know what I mean? Like, how do you miss that? But unfortunately, it's not the way it goes. Another disappointing season for City. It's the way it works. And it's Champions League final, PSG. PSG, Bayern Munich, Sunday, 3:00. We'll talk about it next week when we review how these two finals went, and then we'll look at League One next week because that'll be the one, and then we'll do some previews on the upcoming La Liga season, Serie A season, and Bundesliga season, as well as the EPL, because soccer's 3 weeks away, boys, and we get to do this all over again. And Nick and I will be doing the live betting shows. I'm going to arrange with a sponsor to give us some EPL jerseys that we'll give away in the shows. The Arsenal ones are a lot cheaper, so we should be able to get a ton of those ones and stuff. But guys, it's been a blast doing this show. Really appreciate it. And I am going to work to get the four of us in Vegas next summer, where we will do a live show almost daily for the Euro 2021s that was canceled this year and that will be played next year. How's that sound?
That sounds great. That sounds awesome.
All right, guys, best of luck. Thanks for everyone that tuned in. Really appreciate it. And good luck with your wagers in the Europa League final on Friday and the Champions League on Sunday. Take care.